So as we approach the end of another year, the main harvesting and planting season is over, the autumn winter veg is now planted, thoughts start to go towards what will I be growing in the new year, in 2022. And in this video I'm going to share with you 10 seeds and their varieties of what I'm going to be growing for the very first time in 2022 to maybe give you a few ideas. And make sure you stay tuned till the end of the video, because at the end of the video I'll be sharing with you my 2022 sowing and planting calendar and providing you details of how you can have a copy completely free for yourselves. So if you do like the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe to the channel for future videos on how to sow and grow fruit and veg and 1 or 2 recipe ideas, don't forget to press the subscribe button. Now, a few days ago my main seed order arrived, which I'd ordered about 7 days beforehand. I always order the seeds around about the end of November, beginning of December, because you can have a good selection of seeds, and it also makes sure your favourite varieties have arrived. This order is from a company called DT Brown. Now let me just state before I go any further, I'm not affiliated to DT Brown in any way, and I'm not sponsored by them. This is just a company that I used for the first time last year and was really impressed with their seeds, and I've just put an order in for my main seeds this year from them. There are other seed suppliers out there which you might have a favourite yourself, but this is the one I've chosen to go for this year. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pick 10 packets which I'm growing for the very first time from this order and just show you for yourselves. Now, within this order, as well as selecting new seeds that I'm going to grow for the first time, I've also ordered some of my favourites. You would have seen previous videos on some of these varieties. Swede, a variety called Helena; celery, Octavius F1; cucumber, Market Moore 76; and the Brussels sprouts, Brendan F1. There are many other favourites in this box, but I have picked those 4 as the seeds to show you for what I've currently grown, because these were really successful last year. But as I said, in this video I just want to focus on 10 packets of seeds which I've just got ready here and show you what I'm going to be growing for the very first time. Now, the first 2 are both hot peppers. The first one is a packet of seeds called Carolina Reaper, and the reason I have decided to grow these is because these are the Guinness Book of Records current hottest pepper in the world. It's just something that I've seen other people grow, and I thought I'd just give it a go myself. The other variety is a variety called Gusto Green F1, which is a medium hot pepper. These will be planted in February, but peppers do like quite warm temperatures in order to germinate. Now, I have got a propagator in my potting shed at home, giving them a temperature between 20 and 25 degrees. So if you are going to grow and start peppers, you will need a warm environment to start them in and keep them nice and cozy until the temperature increases. But I'm quite excited about growing these. I'm growing Carolina Reaper and Gusto Green F1. I have grown peppers before, you've seen it on previous videos. I've grown a variety called Fuego F1 and But Jolokia. So I don't think you can get enough peppers, so I'm really looking forward to growing both of these varieties. So if you want to see how I get on with them, make sure you watch future videos. Something else I love growing is sweet corn, and over the past few years I've grown a variety called Incredible F1, which is a really good variety. But this time, this year, I'm going to grow a variety of sweet corn called Rising Sun, another F1 variety. This looks really good. When I read the reviews on this, it's resilient to a lot of common diseases and produces really nice sized cobs as well, so this should be pretty good as well. I'll be planting this in pods first, indoors, probably end of April to beginning of May, hardening off outside, maybe in a cold frame towards the end of May, and looking to plant them out in June. This will give me a harvest round about August, September time. So if you want to try a different variety of sweet corn, why not try Rising Sun F1. Something else I'll be growing for the first time is celeriac. Now, I've never grown this before, and I've seen other people growing it, but I absolutely love celery, and this is a member of the celery family. It grows into a round bulb and it looks fairly rooty around it from what I've seen, but it will have a flavour very much like celery, and it's supposed to be really good for things like stews and casseroles, so I'll definitely be growing that. This is a variety called Iona F1. I'll plant this inside March to April inside my poly house. It does like temperatures around about 14 to 15 degrees C, so it can't be too cold, and then when it germinates I'll harden it off and look to plant it out around about May time. But I'm quite looking forward to see how I get on with this, because I've never grown celeriac before, so if you want to give that a go, give that one a try yourself. Iona F1. Now, something that we really love in our family is beetroot, and I've grown beetroot for years. Last few years I've grown a variety called Renova, which is not the standard bulb beetroot. It is almost like a carrot shaped beetroot, quite thin, very sweet and very tasty. But I'm going for a more traditional beetroot this year. This is a beetroot called Monetta, and this will be planted outside. You can plant it directly outside March to July. I tend not to do that because I don't think beetroot likes transplanting too much, so I'll put it in pods and then I'll lift the pods when they've germinated and look to plant them out around about July without disturbing the roots. Just plant them into pods and transplant them straight out into the prepared ground. But I've not tried this variety before myself, so I want to give it a go. For any of these varieties that I'm trying for the first time, if you've tried them and you have had success with them or maybe not, just let me know in the comments below, see what I'm likely to expect from them. Now, something I did particularly well with last year was a variety of cabbage called cabbage. That's Cabbice, and I'm going to be growing them again this year. But this year, for the very first time, I'm going to be growing a variety of Savoy cabbage called Cordoba F1. Now, the reason I've selected this particular variety is because it's advertised as the first clubroot resistant variety of Savoy cabbage. So I thought, well, that's worth giving it a go. I'll plant this inside probably April to May in my polyhouse and then look to transplant round about June. As with all members of the brassica family, this will need protection, so it will need netting around it to prevent things like butterflies, caterpillars and other things, because everything seems to like cabbages. So that's a variety called Cordoba F1 of Savoy cabbage. Now, the next two suggestions are both varieties of lettuce, and there's loads of varieties of lettuce available. And over the past few years I've grown a number of different varieties of lettuce, Lakeland, Little Gem, all those types of things. But I've seen this one advertised quite often, which is an autumn lettuce. It's called Winter Density. And by the nature of it being winter, that'll tell you it's one of the later lettuces. So I'll plant this inside the polyhouse house probably towards the end of August, and that will give me a winter crop of lettuce. So that's the first one. The other one, which is another one that always looks attractive when you look at it on pictures, it's a variety called Lola Rossa. That's the one where you see the crinkly little purple and green heads. It looks really, really attractive. Almost looks like a really condensed kale. It's supposed to have a really intense flavour, and I've always wanted to grow that, but never have. So two varieties of lettuce then will be Lola Rossa and Winter Density. Now, just like lettuce, there's loads of varieties of spring onions, and in the summer months when you're using salad greens, spring onions, an awful lot, it's good to have a few varieties. Last year I grew a variety called Ramrod, which I was really happy about, and again I will be growing that again this year. White Lisbon is another popular variety, and I've grown that before, and that's really good as well. But this one is a variety called Ishikura. Now, I'm definitely going to be giving this a try. This looks really good. It says on the packet that it's a very vigorous and easy to grow variety. We will find out. I will plant these probably April to May inside, and then that will give me, and I'll do that every 3 weeks. The thing with lettuces and spring onions, if you want succession, i.e. you want a regular supply of them, you need to plant them round about or sow them every 3 weeks. This will give me a harvest right from May through till October. And with the other varieties I'll grow, I shall get a good supply of spring onions. So that's a variety of spring onions called Ishikura. So there's my 10 suggested varieties of seeds that I'll be growing for the first time in 2022. So just before the video ends, I just want to share some information with you about my 2022 sowing and vegetable calendar, which I've prepared, and you can have a copy absolutely free. So just take a few minutes just to look at the rest of the video, and at the end I'll show you how I will give you a free copy completely free for yourself. I'd like to introduce to you my sowing and planting calendar for vegetables for 2022. I'm in zone 8A in the middle of the UK, so if you are in other parts of the country or other parts of the world, you may need to slightly adjust your sowing and growing times to accommodate whatever the climatic conditions are in your area. But I have got a tab down here just at the bottom of the screen called Your Own, where if you click on that, I've actually provided an empty calendar to add your own vegetables, varieties, and you can add your own timelines just by simply clicking on a cell, dragging your mouse along as long as it needs to be, if it's 2 months or 3 months, whatever, and you can go up to the top here and select the appropriate colour. So if it's sowing indoors, you'll click red and it will go red. If you want to harvest, say from end of May through till November, highlight all of those cells and go up to the top over here and click the yellow button and it will fill it all in. So you can fill your own calendar in as well. But this is the way the calendar is laid out for the vegetables that I'll be growing. So these are the vegetables on the left hand side. As you can see, basil, beetroots, a number of beetroots, broad beans, Brussels sprouts, and the varieties that I'm growing are all in the middle column over here. And then I've categorized them as well, so you can filter by, if you want to look at herbs, just click the select all button, take everything off and just select herbs, then it will give you the herbs. When you filter like this, you'll need to just go to the number and drag down a little bit and it will open up the 2 lines that I've allowed for each of the herbs and vegetables. And to go back, to get everything back, just go back to the filter button at the top of the category column, click select all, and everything will come back. So the way that the calendar's laid out, you've got all of the week commencing dates along the top, right from the first week of January through till the final week in December. So it covers the whole of 2022. As you can see, the colour codings are self-explanatory because there is the key at the top. Anything in red is to sow indoors. Anything in dark blue or purple is to sow outdoors. Green is to plant out, and yellow is to harvest. So that should be quite a useful tool to use to remind you of what to sow and when to sow. One final point is these are vegetables that I'll be growing, so when you click down the list on the left hand side, you may not have every single vegetable that you might want to grow, but the good news is because you've got your own tab just at the bottom over here, you can add your own and create your own calendar for yourself. So I hope you found that useful, and I hope you enjoy using the calendar. So knowing or even remembering the right time to sow your seeds or plant out or harvest is absolutely crucial for a really productive and efficient allotment or vegetable garden. And the vegetable calendar will definitely help you to do that. In order to get your free copy of my sowing and planting calendar, all you need to do is drop me an email. My email address will be in the comments below, and just request a copy. I'd also appreciate it if you could put a comment for this video in the comments box below, telling me what you think of the calendar, or maybe if you're growing some of the vegetables that I'm going to be growing for the first time in 2022, you could tell me how you got on with them. Were they successful? Were they not? That'd be really interesting to know. And obviously for future videos, you'll be able to see how I got on myself in 2022. So I do hope you've liked the video and you found it useful, and don't forget, if you have liked the video, to give it the thumbs up, and if you want to subscribe to the channel for future videos on how to sow and grow fruit and veg and 1 or 2 recipe ideas, don't forget to press the subscribe button, and I'll see you all on the next video.